Okay. Well, we're moving on to the next game. We definitely got things to learn and work on this week, and we'll definitely do that all week long and get ready to play a really good football team at their place who's playing well. They beat us last year. They've got an athletic quarterback. They play with tempo. I think they're had one loss in the conference. So we're going to have a good week of practice, which I think we will. I think our guys will come in and work hard, and we'll continue to work on the mistakes we made and figure out ways to get better. And I know that our guys will be into it and ready to compete this week.
Jeff, seemed like the guys are pretty frustrated, obviously, understandably so after a game. I guess, how would you just describe morale right now? And if it is a little low, how do you kind of get the guys re-energized heading into these final two games?
Well, I think it's okay to be angry after the game. All of us were. I think it's okay to be angry for 24 hours after that as well. And then from there, you got to look at, let's identify the mistakes. Let's get things corrected as well as we can. Let's move on and work hard. And, without question, the penalties stand out. Those fall on the head coach. So the head coach has to get that fixed this week, and then that'll be the number one priority to make sure that we try to eliminate those as fully as much as we can, especially any 15-yarders can't happen ever again. And we got to make sure that we don't beat ourselves in those type of situations.
Jeff, this time last week, you had mentioned that regardless of who the quarterback was, there was always a plan in place to help win. Given how the last couple games have gone, are you inching closer to maybe instituting a plan that doesn't involve Miller Moss as the starter?
Well, every week we're going to prepare to win the game, and whatever gives us the best chance to win, that's what we're going to do. And we have no other goal in beating SMU. We'll have packages for all of our quarterbacks. We'll put the best guy out there that will help us win, and we'll have hopefully some creativity to do some different things, have the ability to, but without question, the goal is to win the next football game.
Jeff, can you take us through the decision-making process to switch kickers and what all's happening? At that point, I know it's going fast and you don't have a timeout. So kind of take us through that process in the game Friday night.
I think quite simply, Cooper's had a great year. Unfortunately, we missed an extra point. Then he missed a field goal. We were at a range that was a little bit longer. He easily could have made it, but his confidence was shaken. So we did have a kicker who had made some kicks for us also already this year and had been here a long time. We made the decision to give him a chance after the two misses. Unfortunately, it didn't work. And, I think both those guys will be ready to go this week and bounce back. But it was unfortunately not our best day kicking.
Going over film after a loss is never probably a fun thing. But what jumped out at you maybe after you looked the game closer again on video?
Well, I think, we've had a lot of games where we haven't had a whole lot of possessions. We've been able to run the ball, control the clock. The other team has had possession of the ball as well. We were right where we needed to be with a chance to win twice. And unfortunately shot ourselves in the foot. So as you go back, we talked, everyone knows about the penalties. Yes, that those have to stop. We have to figure out a way not to have those happen and minimize those and definitely eliminate the 15-yarders. Those have been costly and unfortunate. And we have to control our emotions and make sure that we coach it every single day throughout the week and during game day. We've gone back and looked at, okay, what do we need to run different? What could we have done different to, so to speak, not go backwards, in all the three losses. And, Virginia, we threw the ball and that overtime went down and just didn't convert on third and goal, had to kick a field goal. And then Cal, I believe we ran the ball for 9 yards, ran the ball to get the first down, and unfortunately had a 15-yard penalty. So that set us back. And then in this past game, we've been running the ball well. Now they were ready for the run, and they stopped us on a couple where we at least got a yard or two. So we were still in good range and, had some costly penalties, multiple costly penalties that now backed us up. So we're how can we not have negative plays, get positive yards? How can we minimize any chance of any penalty in that situation by doing a couple different things in our calls, but we've looked at it thoroughly to try to make sure that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot anymore down there.
Jeff, how much of a toll does it take on you mentally what you went through last week when you have the threat and it's your family? How did that affect you last week, and how did you deal with it, and how tough was that to deal with?
Well, quite honestly, for me, it doesn't affect me much at all. I think I'm worried about it affecting other people more. That's my job as the head coach is to win football games. So when we don't win, I'm sure people aren't going to be happy, and I have to be able to take that. And, what I don't want is our team to lose confidence in themselves and their ability to play at a high level, because we've had our chances. And everybody could say this and that, we could do this, but we've lost twice in the last play of the game, and then we had two opportunities to easily kick a field goal to win the game, and the story's different. But it is what it is. So I'm the one responsible for it and need to take the heat. So just like I've always done, you just put your head down, you go to work, and that's what we're going to do. That's something I enjoy doing, and it's the football season. You got to grind it away. You got to correct things as they come. You got to try to keep it as clean as you can. For whatever reason, different things pop up every now and then, and you got to address it and hope to play better the next time. But we've had a couple things, shoot us in the foot, and I've got to make sure that we've, don't have those things happen anymore, and that. We play as clean as we can. Now it's a football game. The other team's good too, and they got good coaches. So you're not going to win every battle on every play, but you can't, like I said, shoot yourselves in the foot at times when you're in good position, as long as you don't do something really negative. And unfortunately, those things have happened the last couple games.
Kind of in that regard, two-part. How do you keep their confidence going, when things are not going their way? And then second, you always talk about the fine line of winning a game and losing a game. And I think on the first field goal, the snap was probably a little bit off, and it's just little things, isn't it? I mean, you have to do the little things, the little details.
Well, like I said, I think our guys are going to practice well this week. When you have some tough losses, we always don't move on and throw it out. We're going to identify the mistakes. We're going to talk about it. We're going to correct it. We're going to go through it, and it'll be in a positive tone to a certain degree, emphasizing that these things can't ever happen again, or there will be consequences. At the same time, you want them wanting to come back and compete and fighting through things, and that's part of football. That's part of life. You're going to have adversity. A lot of times when you lose in the fashion we did compared to other ways, it hurts worse, and it stings more because you're right there. But that's life, and I think that our guys, they practiced well last week. They did. I thought we had our chances to win against a good football team, and we didn't do it. So now we get another opportunity to play a really good football team on the road that beat us last year. That will present different challenges, and I'd like to just see us get better and obviously play as clean as we can. But yes, we need to clean up penalties, and we can't shoot ourselves in the foot, and we have to be as efficient as we can on both sides of the ball and play better. Quite honestly.
Jeff, how did you first become aware of the threats last week, and what was that process like? And have you ever had to deal with something like that before?
Well, I don't want to give too many details. I don't know what I'm allowed to, but it was a direct message to my phone right after the game. I'm not going to repeat what was said because it was not good. But you know what? Like I said, things directed to me, I'm fine with. When it's directed to my family and wife and kids, that's going over the line. But you know what? We move on, and hey, people aren't happy with losses. I'm not as well, and so you know what, we're going to go to work and put our head down and go try to win the next game. And that's how we're going to treat this game and the next game. And it's a one-game season. And, yeah, there's challenges ahead of us this week. So you got to take them head on and go to work and try to win.
Kind of on some similar, following up on some similar questions is obviously there's a lot of noise out there, an upset fan base and stuff. Do you try to keep that from your team or how do you, I guess, let them or try to keep the noise away from them when you're trying to prepare for another game?
The noise, no, I don't try to keep it from them. I don't talk about it. It is what it is. I mean, people can say whatever they want. They're going to say good things when you lose and say some things good things when you win and say some things when you lose that aren't great. So, that's what college sports and athletics is now. So, no, we had just addressed the problems. We're a team. We're going to focus on what we can do to get better. We're going to not shy away from our mistakes and not talk about them. No, we're going to talk about them. We're going to go through them and we're going to analyze them. That's what we do on Sunday as we bring our guys in and we go through the film with them. We go on the field, go through all the corrections. We talk about things and we then put it to bed. And then it's about getting ready for the next opponent. So, those things are going to happen. We're fine working through that. It's just a matter of getting ready for a good opponent and trying to win.
Jeff, you talked about just keeping the confidence in the guys, but then also having different plans to be able to win. So I guess what goes into that decision-making process, or how do you balance keeping confidence in players while also considering maybe making some changes among starters?
Well, I really don't think it's that hard to keep their confidence up. We practice hard. We want them to enjoy practicing. I don't think it's that difficult. That's what we do as coaches is to prepare them, get them ready to play where they feel confident going into the game, and then they go cut it loose. When it comes to who we're playing, everyone knows when we play a game, we're going to put the best guys out there to give us a chance to win. And, they practice all week. Our guys are out there. Everyone sees who our best players are, and we're going to go try to win the game. So we'll continue to do that. And with that, yeah, can we be creative and do a couple of different things? Sure, we'll always try to do that. At the same time, you got to have a pulse of your team and what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, and try to play to those and try to win in that fashion.
It was a close game last year here down to the wire with SMU. What do you see with them on both sides of the ball this year? What's maybe different? I know they started slower, but they've been playing really well late.
Well, they're very similar. So on offense, they have the same skill guys for the most part. A good quarterback is athletic. He can run around. He gave us some problems last year. Their tempo and their ability to go fast gave us problems. It was not our best game on defense last year. The tempo and ability to get calls communicated fast and get set was not our strength. So we've worked at and we've been much better this year. Now this team will test us more than the others in that aspect. So, being sound, being set, knowing the call, communicating it, and being able to play against tempo will be very important, and a mobile quarterback who can run. Defensively, you know what? They had a couple games early in the non-conference where they didn't play their best. They've kind of settled in. I think it's a good package. They play hard. They play fast. They've played some really good games here in the recent past, and they're playing very confident now. So I think it's a good football team that's playing confident. They have a lot to play for, like all of us. But it'll be a tough battle for us. Good.
Good morning.
Coach Jeff was just talking about, keeping the confidence and guys coming back and working hard. How do you do that after, ups and downs of a season? How do you make sure guys still have that confidence to go out there and try to improve and get better?
Well, I think it's something that Coach Brohm has done a great job of starting way back. You got to start putting that in them before it happens. If you wait until, anything like that happens, it may be too late. And he talks about all the time, hey, win or lose. And obviously we anticipate winning. That's the goal. That's what we're working towards. But you got to go right back to work the next day. And, I've heard him talk about that for 3 years. Win or lose, it's the same preparation starting on Sunday, or in this case, Saturday, because we played on Friday night. But and I think our players have been, in my opinion, really great. I know even in practice last week, that was coming off of a difficult loss in Cal. And at practice, they were energized. They were working and thinking and engaged in what was going on. I would expect this week to be no different. Yesterday, which was just more of a corrections and more of a get out, get moving stuff on Sundays, which is what we do. Seemed like everybody was still fully engaged, fully activated, fully mentally prepared to come and fight to get another win. So I think if you prepare for that all year long, obviously you don't want any losses, but if you do have them, then you can continue to struggle and fight and strain. I shouldn't say struggle, but strain to get that next victory. Jody, I think that's the best answer for it, just because you can't just wait until, hey, all right, we've had a couple losses. Now let's start trying to figure out how to get them fired up.
Mark, obviously you guys played SMU last year, faced this quarterback. What do you see that's maybe different about him this year? Or I guess, how have you just seen their offense maybe improve this season, or what's different about it?
Well, he is, that fellow presents some problems. There's no doubt about it. He did last year for us, and not just for us, for everybody that he's going against. Jennings he's a dynamic player. He's able to beat you with his legs, but he's got some incredible arm angles where you see him throwing. I don't know if he was a baseball player growing up or not, but he makes some throws that he's off balance. Sometimes he's running for his life, and he's still just putting it on the money. So when you can do that, when you can pressure a guy and then he can still make, very, very accurate, very on the point throws, that makes it very hard for him for us to defend. And he's capable of, one thing that really hurts everybody I've seen him go against, including us, is he's able to extend plays. So you may get pressure on him, you may get somebody that's got him moving around, but then he can move his body in certain spots so now he can set up and throw the football. And, they're going to use him with some bootleg and some sprint out and some stuff like that, which is smart to get him moving and let him make some decisions. But he's a dynamic player. There's no doubt that can't hurt you. How is he doing better this year? I don't know that he was doing real poorly last year. I think he's just he kind of picked up where he left off and continued to do, in my opinion, some really talented, really dynamic things. He's a good player.
The return of Stan Kwan, your thoughts on his performance? Obviously, tied for team lead in tackles there.
Well, of course, no doubt. I think we're all excited to get Stan Kwan back. I probably may be a little more excited than the others because I get to deal with him on a day-to-day. But, I really appreciate the fact that he did a good job because, that was a broken leg's not a minor deal. And then for him to be able to, they said, anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks. And he started practicing around 8 and then was in the game at 10 weeks. So I appreciate him putting in the effort to be in here. And our medical staff, training staff doing a good job of getting him back. Sean and those guys did a great job. But, there was some rust. You haven't had as much activity, fitting runs. You can look on the screen and you can write down notes, and that's all very good. But there's no substitute for repetition. There's no substitute for game reps and all that kind of good stuff. But he did come out and do what Stan Kwan does, which is, he makes plays. And he had a couple tackles for loss, and, he had some nice hits. And he's a big, strong guy that can run. So anytime you can plug that back into your scheme, into your system, as an inside linebackers coach, I'm very happy. And I think Coach English and Coach Brohm are in the same boat. So we're glad to have him back. I would imagine that even though he did play well, you'll continue to see improvement, I hope, this week and next week and as we move forward. So, but very glad to have Stan Kwan back, no doubt about it.
Mark, last year it seemed like the SMU game after that the defense is when it kind of clicked and started getting better and better. Jeff was talking about how poor it was that day, and it was more of the tempo and everything they did. What's different now with this defense when you go up against a team that does tempo than maybe when you played them last year?
Well, they obviously had a good plan and caught us, moving and talking and doing some stuff last year, no doubt about it. And that was it's something that we've always worked on. I'm not going to say that, hey, that was the first game we ever realized there was tempo. No, we obviously have always worked at that. But that game, we seemed to be a little off kilter, and they did get us in some situations. But obviously we worked diligently, with Coach Brohm, with Coach English in the offseason. And it wasn't just them. It started immediately even during the game, at halftime, we're not just saying, hey, just ride this out. No, we're trying to get things adjusted just like we do every week and come out with a better plan in the second half. Even on the sideline, if it's the first drive of the game, we're trying to make adjustments using those iPads. Game's so different now. You go straight over and watch everything. So you're trying to adjust right then. But that's something we've worked at a lot as far as being able to have certain calls that we can instantly get the guys into. And then things that if we need to check, we can check. But just making sure they feel comfortable, because that's the big thing. Whatever they're doing, as long as our guys can feel comfortable getting their feet in the ground and being in a proper football position, they're going to have chances to make plays. It's if they're not, then there's any type of communication or confusion or any gap in what's going on with the people on the field. Now you're in a predicament. So we've worked extremely hard at that, starting at the beginning of that game all the way through, this season, and we'll continue to do so, presenting them with scenarios throughout the week so that they can practice and get better.
As we wind down the season, 2 more games in this regular season, it'll be senior day for TJ here coming up soon. I think you've been around the entire time he's been here, I believe, correct?
I have.
What's he meant to this program? And this year, it seems like even when he's out there, sometimes he's limping. He doesn't, he gets nicked up, but he's still going. What's he meant to this program, and what's kind of he mean to your group, your room?
Well, to your point, to get a straight answer out of TJ about, are you okay? Because you see him, he's banged up, and he wouldn't tell you anything other than, yep, I'm good, coach. So you really never know. He's going to go play football, and he's played a lot of reps in the last 3 years, and so for him to be able to perform, I think at a very high level, this year has been very satisfying for me to see for him. Just because I think, you don't always get what you deserve. I tell people this all the time. Hey, you've worked very, very hard, but just because of that, unless you go out and make it happen, you're not going to necessarily get what you deserve. It doesn't happen like that. That's not how life always is. But I feel like for him, he is having a very good year. Of course, I'd like for it to finish even stronger throughout these last few games as he finishes out what's been, in my opinion, a really good career. But it is nice to see him stay put, work hard, be loyal, ask all the right questions, and want to improve on whatever the things that he may have had. If there's a deficit anywhere, how do I fix it? And then when you tell him what to do, he attempts to go and make that happen. So it's been really pleasurable. But for him this year, if you've watched on game day, the communication level has gone through the roof compared to where it was 3 years ago. And you should continue to get better. But I see him constantly talking and communicating. And there's no doubt if there's a day of practice where he's not in as much, then things don't run quite as smoothly because he knows the defense. He knows what Coach English is thinking due to those conversations and all those repetitions. So there's no doubt when he's not out there, it's a different deal. And that's a good thing. So hopefully he'll continue to do so. But he's meant a lot to our unit because they have to see the consistency of this guy that's been everywhere. I couldn't imagine somebody telling you that he's missed a weight room or a treatment or something in the classroom. He's always sitting there with a smile on his face and when it's time to meet or do whatever we got to do. So you really love to see the people that have that type of attitude and mentality in life have success because it didn't always like that. But he's going to be hard to replace, and it's been a lot of fun to be around him, no doubt.
It's always win as a team, lose as a team. But at the same time, this defensive unit has been really good all year. You have good games and bad. I just wonder if it's a challenge to kind of keep tunnel vision, like when you're working with defense, if you've just lost a game or whatever, to kind of have them realize we're still playing pretty well. We got some things to clean up. How do you deal with that? When you've got a good unit on a team that's lost, is it always just focus on what needs to be better? How do you do that?
Well, it's whatever whatever you encourage, whatever you talk about, whatever you have decided is going to be what we're doing. And I've watched Coach English walk right in this room every day, and the only thing he talks about is what are we going to do, to make those extra couple plays to win these ball games. It's never about anything else, and nor should it be, because we have done some good things, but there's always, like you said, we go in that room, hey, there's umpteen things we got to get better at. Here's what we could have done to improve the outcome, and I think that's how. I know it's how our coaches approach it, and I think that's how our players approach as well. I mean, like you said, you've had 3 extremely close ball games that you'd love to have back, but you can't get them back. The only thing you can do, if you have any common sense at all, is move on and continue to improve so you can win the very next game, which is, for us, SMU. So, but I think the guys have done a fairly good job of that. I don't know, couldn't tell you what they say when they walk back to the dorm room or sit in the apartment. But I know it's not tolerated or encouraged or allowed here in the facility or in this room. It's just, hey, here's what we did well. Here's what we did poorly. How are we going to improve to do our part to help get a victory come this time it's on Saturday?
Right. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, thank you. You want to talk about the secretary? You want to talk about the secretary? Yes.
Questions for KJ Green, Nate Brisky.
For both of you guys, just what's, after some tough losses, what's kind of the morale? What's it like around the locker room, and how do you keep your confidence going to move on this week?
I think our confidence is still high because even though we lost 2 games in a row, they were still close losses. Of course, there's things that we have to fix going into this next game to be ready and to try and prevent another loss of 3 in a row. But I think everybody in the locker room understands that, even though we lost 2 games, that we still have work to do and to try and finish strong, because a loss here and there doesn't define your season, and you're only judged at the end of the season of how your football team is.
Yeah, I agree with what AJ's saying here. Just we got a lot to play for still, and it's come down the wire the last 2 games with the losses. So we just got to clean up some small things, and we know we can go out there and win any game at any moment. So we just got to keep on pressing forward.
AJ, can you talk about just contending with a guy like Kevin Jennings, who's so mobile, he extends plays, and just the challenge that provides?
I think it's a challenge. A couple of games with mobile QBs is something that is like an extra thing to worry about. I think if we do a good job of containing him and not letting him out the pocket, we can limit some of his ability with his extended plays and the extra effort that he gives. I think it just boils down to us, doing our job and staying on the rush lanes as a D-line and getting after him to where he can't get out of the pocket, stop him from getting out of the pocket.
Nate, you mentioned having a lot to play for this season. Obviously, the ACC championship is is no longer in that picture, but you guys are both eligible. So I guess what's just the message in terms of, hey, this is, I guess, your why, basically, as far as these next 2 games?
I mean, we look at it as a 1-game season, so whether you win or lose, Coach Brohm says the next week you're expected to win. So you can't just lay down just because we lost 2 in a row. Like, so what? On to the next game. You just got to go out there and win. So planning to win the next 2 games, and then the game after that. So.
AJ, can you guys talk about your progression as you get more and more snaps and get more and more confidence? We talked, I think, in the spring about putting on weight and that kind of stuff. Where are you now with the weight, and how much confidence have you gotten this year, as you've made plays?
So my weight, I'm at 250, where they want me to be.
What were you?
When I got here, I was 205. So it came a long way. They called me Sticks because I was little, but they're looking for a new nickname now because, I'm getting the weight on. But I think having the extra weight helps, and the confidence with making plays, is usually like a kid doing the first thing for the first time. You make a play, you get excited, and it just drives you to want to make more plays. So I think having plays made under my belt actually helps with my confidence, and I think being able to make plays allows me to go out and be free and play loose and not tense.
AJ, you just talked about, or Coach talked about, SMU is more of a tempo offense. In terms of conditioning, what is that like preparing for an offense that's going to try to, run really quickly? Or I guess how do you just kind of prepare for that tempo?
I think we've been preparing for tempo all year. I mean, shoot, we just ran yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So it's something that we've been working on. I don't really expect it to affect us that much because, it is something that we've been working on, and it is football. So things like that happen, and you got to be ready to line up and play.
Hey guys, this can be for either of y'all. Obviously, penalties were a big issue last week, and I guess just whenever Brohm was talking about it, talking about making smart decisions, and in that moment, staying cool. What are you guys telling each other in the locker room during practice this week about kind of making sure you guys go in with level heads and stay level throughout the game?
Obviously we know they've killed us the last couple games, so that's a big emphasis right now with us. So everybody's just trying to keep everybody accountable. So that's all we really can do is just try to cut it out as much as you can and not do it going forward in the rest of the year.
Just to piggyback off what he said, I think football is an emotional sport. So being able to control your emotions is a big thing. And for the most part, I think we do control our emotions. It's just sometimes they get the best of us, and being able to, limit that and have a little bit more self-control, because like you say, the ref catch the second person that does something, not the first person. So just being smart about knowing that like, if you do something, he may not see what caused you to do it or caused your reaction. So react appropriately. I think that's the biggest thing for us, to be able to react appropriately.
Nate, through this whole season, you guys have had injuries in the backfield. You started out injured and that kind of stuff. What have you seen with those guys in the backfield, though, as you block for them, and especially Key One last week and running over dudes, down the field? As one guy gets hurt, the other guys continue to seem to step up.
Yeah, I really love our running backs. They're just a tough group, and they don't care. Like, I remember the Pitt game, I think Duke went out with an injury. He came right back in, played hurt. Like, Keywan got a little banged up in the game. He still played. Like, they just play through whatever, man. Those guys they love to play football, man. You can see it. They just running through people. They never quit. Like, big shout out to the running backs, man. It's a special group right there.
Anybody else? All right, guys. Thanks.
Tom, when you're ready. We'll start with head coach Karen Ferguson-Days. Coach, you want to start with a quick opening statement?